What's up, Extra Butter listeners? On today's episode, we watched movie number 2 of the critics versus the audience scores directly from Rotten Tomatoes, The Man versus the People. Number 2 is Drag Me to Hell, our first horror movie that we've watched on the pod, and also our first cult classic. Found that out a little bit later on after watching the movie, but this one was identified as a cult classic, so excited to jump into a horror mystery cult classic film from 2009 where the critics scored it 92%. And the audience gave it a 62. So 30% difference, which just met the cutoff of our 30% or higher divide between the man and the people. So Drag Me to Hell is up today. We also have, as always, some gears to grind. And we also deep dove into the Rotten Tomatoes scoring system, what it really means, where are we getting these numbers, what do the reviews look like, and more. So the boys are going to talk a little bit about that as we jump into episode 2 of our Rotten Tomatoes discrepancies in the man versus the people scores. Roll the tape.
Extra butter on the corn for me. Extra butter. I hope they don't charge a fee. But it won't matter anyway. I got a good movie to play. I'm gonna ask my friends to stay extra butter for me.
This is episode 6, and ladies and gentlemen, we are now live on Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music, in addition to Spotify and YouTube. So we had 2 episodes drop last Friday. This one's coming out, obviously, to you today. But check us out on all 4 platforms now, previously on Spotify and YouTube, upgraded into the Apple Pod and Amazon Music. And make sure to check us out for everything updates, fun facts, upcoming movies, etc. on Instagram and X, the Everything app. Everything happens on X. To kick things off, Trav, I know you got a gear to grind. It's becoming a common theme, probably a new segment for us just to be a staple of the podcast. But let's just start there. Gears to grind. Big Trav, fill us in.
So I'm driving back, right? And this is just a full day thing, right? I'm driving back from T-Bangs. If you don't know what that is, it's Taco Bell.
T-Bang.
As I'm eating there, this chick in the drive-thru has no left mirror and just a complete gouge in the left side of her car. And it seems like she's clueless to this, right? And I see her literally ride over the curb, crunch her rim, and it's a straight driveway through the drive-thru. It's like it's terrible. Okay, so I'm on my way back then, thinking about that, like, wow, these bunch of people that suck at driving, ruining their cars. I get to the intersection where I got to turn onto my street. This dude is driving his car, dual exhaust, puffing white smoke out of the back. I mean, it looked like you were burning leaves in the middle of the road. That's how bad it was. He couldn't see out of his window. And he just pulls out into the road. He's about to turn left. Good thing he didn't turn left on my road. But what are these people doing with catastrophic failure in their vehicles riding on the road? I mean, he looked like he's not going home. He's got somewhere to be. You know?
I've never seen the white smoke. I've seen the black smoke out of trucks.
It stunk.
The white smoke, though, that has to be a bad sign. Because I think the black smoke has something to do with, like, diesel or some kind of...
Roll coal.
Yeah. White smoke, though,
you can only be cool to that. Yeah, true. I think burning oil, catastrophic something, because it smelled bad. And the whole street was covered in smoke.
It's definitely one thing to see a car that's kind of banged up to be driving like shit, because obviously makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta go hand up here. Can't see it. My car's kind of been dinged up for a while, and we got a little bungee cord on there. Drive fine. Hit a shopping bag one time in the middle of the interstate that was filled with, I don't know, bricks. Torched my front end. Haven't fixed it. Doesn't really bother me. But I don't drive like an asshole, so
right.
It's like I am one of those people.
It's not catastrophic though. I'm talking like your car. You need to go in. You know, you're gonna get pulled over.
Yourself.
You know, at that point.
Now, when you say gouge, are you talking like holes, like rusted out? Like, what do you mean gouge?
I'm thinking like a T-Rex claw, like
a yellow Kruger. Yeah. That's what I saw on the T-Bangs, the chick's car.
It was just like gutted,
like those yellow bollards. She just drove into it and just hit.
I was gonna say, like, what could possibly have done that? You know what I mean?
Probably one of
But-
those.
Yeah.
Then Wolverine claws. You got that.
Yeah.
But I guess my bone
No.
to pick is not that it's an issue, and not that you shouldn't be driving, but do what you can to fix it. I mean, you're going to end up killing somebody on the road with that type of failure. Like if that guy's car failed after the white smoke right in front of a semi, like he's turning, you're dead.
Pancakes.
You're dead.
Yeah.
Man,
But
in
the
Colorado,
the gouges, you might be able to get away with it. You know, you can rip around a little bit.
Eh,
might help with the aerodynamics of the vehicle, you know?
Good.
don't know what happened.
In Colorado, man, a lot of people are starting to drive with like 0 license plates. Like the newer cars definitely have it just on the back. Man, there's cars of all shapes and sizes, no license plate. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
And it makes you think, like, 85+% chance that they do not have insurance.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100% don't have insurance without plates, man. And maybe they got stolen, but it's so common out here now to I just can't explain it because it's such a risk to not even have license plates. Like not to have insurance or your registration, like that's one thing. But you're just in a bucket of metal right now, guys.
And there's plenty of cops to see that you don't have plates.
The cop presence in my neck of the woods is near 0.
I feel like
that's why people
bigger
do
fish to fry sometimes than the license plate. But I got a quick shout out for just doing the right thing. Quick shout out, right? Get your license plate. Not hard. Costs money. Sucks. But you got to do
Everybody
it.
else
Do the right
has to
thing.
do it.
Quick shout out. Do the right thing. Easy. Take the right path. I mean, it's not hard.
That's all I had. I just it was something right in front of me that I was like, okay, the boys are gonna love this. It happened today, so
yeah, I've seen it. I'm kind of guilty of having a little bit of a dinged up car, but
dings are dings, you know.
Yeah. But no, I seeing that makes you scratch your head a little bit.
Yeah.
But a little light on the grinding gears today, but I didn't hate that.
Hey, pun intended. Grinding gears.
Yeah, true. Now, kind of pivoting into this set of 4 movies, I know we talked about last week, kind of diving in more to what these ratings are, where they come from, what they look like. And I know Crit on the back end did a lot of work on finding some information, and we came to find out that in terms of like the critic scores to the audience scores, the sheer number difference between critics and specifically on Drag Me to Hell, it was like 100,000 times more audience scores than critics.
1,000 times. 1,000. We'll get
1,000 times more.
Yeah,
whatever. 250,000 plus to 267. So the volatility is way more on the critic score as opposed to what you're going to see from the audience is going to be pretty cut and dry. Hard to get an outlier to matter out of 250,000 plus reviews.
Right.
So that was interesting to me because obviously we're the audience. I'm not a critic. I don't claim to be. The reason why we started this was to figure out what the hell was going on behind the scenes with these scores. But the fact that there's, this large of a difference in the reviews, I think will probably tell you why, maybe not tell you anything, but the critics is going to change a lot more and a lot quicker with a bad review as opposed to the audience where you're getting a surefire number that 3 reviews isn't going to change.
Right. And then we dove into like the list of the reviews from the critics. And I mean, the differences in what they're saying is wild. I mean,
I didn't even
found one that made no sense, and he gave it a good review.
I didn't even think what they were saying was as crazy as like out of 5, out of 10, B plus. Like what? We're not even using a consistent scale. Like how the hell is this? A 7 out of 10 and a 3 out of 5 and a B minus. Where do those? I know you can go back to school and try to times it by 10, whatever you want to do to get to the same number, but why can't we just use out of 5 or out of 10? Like, why is there a website? I mean, not to completely dog Rotten Tomatoes here, but why are we allowing people to use these different scores and then trying to compute a number up that equals 92%? I don't get it.
And then it's only fresh or it's rotten. Like there's no in between. There's no, ripe. There's no like there's no way to tell if it's good or bad if it's only fresh or rotten. So your individual score doesn't even matter at this point because for the total, it's only going off of two things. So it's either yes or it's no. And obviously, like majority of these are yes, but the scores don't reflect that really.
Right. It's too much of a gray area for
Where's the accountability? You know?
too much of a gray area for people to use it so much. Like,
And let's just Chris just highlighted a couple crucial things to what I was saying. We got a B minus, and it was scored the same as a tomato as a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 is 60%.
right.
A B minus is at least in the 70s or 80, whatever. I can't remember school, but 80,
I think it's low 80s.
80%.
I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, I don't even think they
I think
use
it's
those
just
anymore.
participation now, isn't it?
Now it's now can't be. That was a new word for us last week.
But the ending is
schools,
a letdown. Okay.
Schools nowadays you can't slap a B on there or an F. Like that's gonna hurt their feelings.
Great. I like that Dennis Schwartz review right there. Can you find me Dennis Schwartz again?
Yeah, but I was just 6 out of 10 earlier was rotten tomato. This one was a good tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
That makes no sense.
Who is
What was the name again, Trav?
Dennis Schwartz. Find me Dennis Schwartz. I thought that was a good Exorcist like hokey supernatural thriller.
Hokey.
See, I like descriptive words in a review. So I think we need to, if it were me, I would like for this list to have highlighted words like that so you can search them out.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like the NFL MVP or any, like some analysts have a vote, some people that we don't know have a vote, or the Heisman, etc. Because you look through these reviews and it's like some podcast hosts, some people that just say they're a movie reviewer, right. I don't know where you gain that credential or if you get asked to do it for a movie. I'm trying to get there. Let's do it. I mean, I'll skew the.
Is Dennis Schwartz like the Stephen A. Smith of movies? I
don't know.
Someone
is.
We could be freelance critics. I don't know what that is. I'm pretty sure all critics are freelance, but
I'm sure some of them have like
is there a critics guild?
Professional. I don't know, but I want in because I think I could.
I could help it up.
I could skew this. I could skew this list.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to dive into that more if there's some reviews that we find that are kind of wacky, but make more sense than just a 6 out of 10 or a B minus.
Well, let's just talk about attainable goals, right? We've got a podcast.
Yeah,
we can get there. We'll shake this thing up because I need to know the details behind the numbers, the letters, the 10 out of 5, 5 out of 10, whatever. Where are we getting some of this stuff? We can achieve that.
Yeah.
Attainable goals. Hey, in order to achieve the goal, you got to know what the goal is. There it is.
Everybody that's watching us, rate the podcast 5 stars, by the way, because we know you love it.
And we need to be on. We need a tomato or a rotten tomato. I need it. It's a life goal now. Bucket list. I want to be able to throw a red tomato out there or a green tomato out there on a movie at some point down the road because I don't understand. And I want the behind the scenes.
Yep.
I want to be in the critic guild and understand what's going on back there because clearly we don't know. And there's all different types of critics. We could deep dive every one of them, but I'm sure they're different for every maybe genre or movie. There's different people getting asked to do it. So I need to know. I don't know what genre they're going to ask me to do, but I'll do them all. I don't care.
This reminds me of that meme of the guy on like the 8th step of like winning the trophy. It's Brendan with the tomato meter.
Yeah, give me my medal. I don't care. Just give me that tomato because I'm smashing it or I'm putting it on a pedestal down in Tomato Town. I'll tell you that. Interested to learn more about that, but I mean the deep dive. I don't even know if it helped.
Go back to that screen with the reviews for Drag Me to Hell, and I want to show the audience what we saw on the question marks on how they got those scores.
The only thing I actually learned from that was that the audience score is way more like
accurate.
Yeah, accurate, or like it's a pretty concrete number.
Yeah, so if you go to the tomato meter, how those come about, yes, the percentage of approved tomato meter critics who have given this movie a positive review. We don't necessarily, if we looked at it, we don't know what a positive review is. So that's way too gray. And if you go to the popcorn meter, it's a lot more, like, to me, I would ignore the tomato meter. The percentage of users who rated this 3.5 stars or higher. That is a great baseline.
That's like, you can measure that.
C's get
A
degrees.
positive review, you can't measure a positive. We saw plenty of those that I would have read as negative that had a tomato.
Right.
So
Right.
the positive review thing.
We got to get in there and shake it up.
Got to. We need changes over there. We need some kind of standard because, as Mike Tom would tell you, the standard is the standard, and currently we don't have one.
Right.
at Rotten Tomatoes. So I don't know. I'm going to continue to kind of. I think this is going to be a little rabbit hole that I'm going to continue to look into because we didn't learn a whole lot.
We're gonna have to
But
touch
listen
on
to the
this.
audience. When in doubt, listen to the audience. You might find yourself agreeing with critics or disagreeing with critics or vice versa, but the score that you get from the audience is going to be thousands, tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands in this case of reviews. So you're going to get a pretty on par number with what the general people thought about it. And you're also going to get one from us because as we transition into this week's movie, Drag Me to Hell, as mentioned on the intro, first horror film for the boys, first cult classic film that I don't think these two guys knew until I mentioned it because I didn't know either. Happened to find that. So really interesting for us. We've had 6 episodes now and have kind of bounced all around the place in terms of genres of movies. So excited to talk about a horror film, about an hour and a half runtime, episode 2 of Man versus the People at Rotten Tomatoes. Trav, tell us a little bit about the movie.
Yeah, so we got this banker chick. She's kind of locked into wanting a, promotion at her job. Kind of got the stresses of that. She's got a pretty good competition in order to get the promotion to be assistant manager. So that's enough of a stress. She comes in. She's got to help this chick out. Super old lady. Pretty grungy. And she ends up, getting possessed by something that we find early in the movie. Is not so great to be possessed by. Quite the evil spirit. So she goes back and forth with the struggles of, is she going crazy? Is this real? Is it not? And all the kind of layers into getting possessed. So, Geese, what do you think?
This movie sucked. Terrible. Awful.
Good. Thank God.
I was like, I'll go to that review. It's campy as shit.
Yeah.
I will say some of the CGI special effects were pretty solid. Definitely got reactions from me from the way they did scenes. So there are little highlights in there that I did like, but acting sucked. Story sucked. Actually, I take that back. The premise of the story I liked. I liked the idea of it. Everything else, God, I couldn't hate it more.
I love that. I love it because this might be the first time we have just some pretty hardcore disagreements because I did not think that movie sucked. 99% sure I saw it before, but it's one of those movies that 2009, I probably watched it when I was younger. It makes sense, right? Big horror guy, big thriller guy, but I pretty positive I'd seen it, but watching it again, one thing that stood out to me and just an overall principle that I might have that you guys can either agree or disagree with, horror movies and special effects in general. If those can stand the test of time, I think it says something about a movie, whereas a good story, when you don't have special effects, it's not scary. Like, it's not a whatever type of movie. I think those are a lot easier to stand the test of time because it's just acting. You're at a real place. There's not anything supernatural happening or something fake happening. So if you're a horror movie or you have special effects in terms of fantasy, kind of like Warcraft last week, those type of movies, if you can stand the test of time, I think it's a solid movie. This movie, I was watching it in broad daylight on my computer. Side note, watching a movie with headphones in, so you kind of get the theater effect of both sides of your ears getting what they should be getting as opposed to watching it on your TV. I would do that. It's fun. But broad daylight, goosebumps a lot. Jump scares were great. Still got me.
You got goosebumps during this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
get
there's
outta
the
here.
eeriness of it. Like, I didn't think the acting, definitely hit or miss. I would say my overall thoughts or first initial thoughts to give you my big picture is that we were on a boat ride through this movie, and we got in a storm a couple times. It was shaky, but I think we got there. Like we got home, and I enjoyed it. I'm a horror movie guy though, so our opinions might differ there.
I'm with you, Brendan. I'm also a horror movie guy, and here's my best way to describe horror movies in like what you can get. It's like those triangles where you can only have two. You have acting, you have story. Or no, hold on. You have story, gore, and special effects. Like story, scare, gore, and then special effects. You can only have two good ones out of the three, and it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? You can't have all three in a scary movie. Then that's top tier, like 100% Rotten Tomato score. Like those movies are, up there. But for movies like this, cult classics, like you're only gonna get two of them.
Well, I think the fact that I learned it was a cult classic too, also, and I learned that after I take my notes, thought about the movie. I learned that after, and I think that kind of plays into some of the stuff we'll talk about of some of the corniness of it, some of the comedy, or I'm sure Geese is probably laughing multiple times throughout this movie. I think that adds to it because I was after I learned that I learned a little bit more about cult classics because I know in general what they are, but not how you earn that badge. Something I'll probably look into a little bit more, especially once we have a theme of cult classics only or some of the best of all time. I want to learn more about it, but I think that added more to it for me seeing that and then understanding why, because I thought it was good. I think it was an older movie. Like you could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell it was about 20 years old. So going into a horror movie that old, I had already set those expectations where any older movie CGI typically not going to be as great. I thought this one did a good job. There's definitely points in here where I wrote down where probably not so much. I'm sure we all have the same opinions there, or maybe they differ, but I didn't think it sucked. I thought the story was decent. I'm a sucker for the 90-minute film.
Yeah.
Get me in, get me out. Like going back to these
older
films.
It felt longer than an hour and a half.
They told a story. I think the movie was technically 3 days in real time, 2.5. I mean, they got into the third day.
Yeah.
They could have. Maybe they got to the fourth day.
I think it is.
Yeah, but
it's
I mean, like
around whatever.
Less than
a week.
But the 90-minute mark, it was such a staple. I feel like back when we were younger, of if you any shorter, any longer, probably not going to be that great. So yeah, this one felt longer, which I think is good for a movie because I wasn't checking every 2 seconds how much time was passed. I was locked in.
Here's my prediction. I have not looked this up. My prediction on the definition of cult classic is something that did not do well in theaters, but once it got out, people were like, "Oh, like this isn't the best movie, but you gotta watch it."
Yeah,
kind of like Warcraft. We might be the cult of Warcraft.
Yeah, true. I don't know if that one's got the badge, but
part 2
sequel.
Part two. Speaking of part 2, and I guess I could have saved this for the end, but in the cult classic findings, Drag Me to Hell 2 is confirmed.
Oh.
2023, the director, I think it was like Sam Raimi or Saney. I think we were seeing that on the Rotten Tomatoes page, but he confirmed in 2023, and I was reading a little bit about it, and he wants the script to be perfect. So they said it could be released as late as 2025. That was in 2024. We're in 2025. We actually might see a sequel to this one.
There was a writer's strike too, so probably 26, 27.
Yeah.
But someone needs a paycheck.
Yes, you're gonna watch it.
Of course. I will certainly watch it. So I honestly think the sequel is going to be 100 times better than the original.
In development.
I doubt. Yeah, I saw that. It was like it is happening. Like it is definitely happening. It's just not. It ain't here yet. But funny to roll off of Warcraft, where we're just going to pray for that sequel. We're actually going to get one here.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, diving into the movie. As I've alluded to, I've got my 3 boxes: music, set, stage, gotcha. Checked them all. I really did. I think those older movies, I can really appreciate a movie that has the initial scene prior to the title or the credits, or like that is the ideal. They're trying to get you bought into the movie. And I think it worked. Like I said, I know it's older, but they had the good music for a horror film. They set the stage for what was going to happen, and they got you as they dragged, the kid down to hell. as they alluded to the movie's title. I don't think they ever said it. Always keep my ears open for that. But
I don't think so.
they set the stage and then they rolled the credits, and that's how older movies used to be. We don't see it as much anymore. It's typically just the title, but it's got the same feel to it nowadays. So I appreciated it. I thought it checked all three boxes.
Yeah, I like intro scenes as well, especially for horror films, because you don't know if you're going to get a jump scare right away or if you're going to see whatever the beast is or the spirit or whatever's coming about, and I dig that. Kind of sets the tone.
I like that they, as you get through the movie and you kind of, obviously you understand the concept from this first scene, but that first scene sets it up to where when it happens to her, you're like, okay, now you're on the clock, right? And so it's like, it sets your expectation for the rest of the film. She's got 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And a item is going to be like enchanted or something with this thing. So you're kind of looking for those type of things.
I was actually expecting it to be the locket still.
The same thing.
I thought that was going to be like traveling through the ages, and it always ends up in, someone's hand.
I wonder if it was, but we just didn't see it.
Well, here's
Turned
a
into a
question I
button.
had. Yeah, it ended up being her button, but my question is, and we'll definitely dive into it, but the kid stole a gypsy's necklace. A silver necklace was what he had stolen, and then who we later find out is Sean, the medium later. She, freaks out, right? And gypsies, I feel like, always are involved.
Yeah.
Can't steal from a gypsy. That was pretty typical. But the thing that I was curious about was, and I will get there, but they mentioned the ownership of the item. So I guess the ownership matters more than like actually physically gifting it to somebody. I think it only matters if you own it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why, I made a little bit of a comparison there on why this kid was being possessed or haunted by this demon, the Lamia, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the ownership of the cursed item. I don't think it has anything to do with who had it. If you claim it, it is now you're the hunted.
Let me go back. I know it was the button. I was talking about the necklace. If the necklace showed up in the movie and we saw it, that's what I was saying. If it was in the movie and we didn't see it, the necklace from the opening scene.
You're talking about you were just wondering if the necklace was in the movie at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I understood that, Trav.
I thought,
I know it turned into the damn button.
I was on Critter's side. Like, I wonder if it still was the locket. Like, no. Did you watch the movie? Like,
I know it was
not the locket.
No, we were talking about the necklace.
I have a question about the beginning. We fast forward through the credits after the opening scene, and we get to Christine driving to work, and she's going through like English lessons. Was she not American? Like, why was she practicing her English? I tried to look into it. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, no, I think it's more. I kind of thought that too, Brennan. I was like, why is she? I was like, she's learning English. No, I think she's learning like vocabulary where, the tongue, the teeth, the lips, or however that goes.
It's prep for that promotion. I think is what it is, to sound more professional and whatever. I think that's what it
might
was
be for the future mother and father-in-law too.
Yeah. Good point.
That is a good point.
She had a lot of nerves, so I mean that would be something a nervous person would do, and the most simple thing. And I think
Southern,
possible,
right?
talking.
So it's like making her sound more high class.
Good point.
Yeah, that was pretty good there. It confused me. I just was trying to do a little bit of research on if she was like supposed to not be American, but that nerves is, I guess, the culprit there. But get to the job. You learn that she's looking for the assistant manager job. Works in a bank. This new dickhead, Stu. Stu is, that guy's the worst.
Perfect. But perfect casting and perfect acting by Stu.
Yeah.
Perfect. Loved it.
Yeah. I just hated him. And she's a pushover. She's a pushover, right? Like, you found that out pretty quick. The boss man and the new guy hitting it off. She's the yes man. Hey, you take your lunch now. Pick me up a turkey club on the way back, and then Stu, get me the same thing with some mustard. How about you get it yourself, bud?
Oh,
you just started here.
I would have put my foot down. I commented when that scene, I was like, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah.
And
Stu,
then
they
I
just
would
let
have
it
told
happen,
him.
though.
I would have told him, "Yeah, man, I'll get that for you," and then show up and not get it for him. Like, go get yourself, you fuck. Like,
Yeah, dude, and she just goes, and like that's when you know this promotion is leaning Stu's way. He maybe I don't know if he started the day before, hadn't been there long, but
total
you
ass
see it.
kisser.
She's
Yeah,
teaching him shit, you know?
total ass kisser though.
Supposed to,
Total
I
ass
guess.
kisser. And then she does go, and she meets up with, and I don't know his name, Crit, if you can find the cast here, but the guy from Dodgeball, I think it's like Jason Long. I thought I
think you got
saw
it.
it beforehand.
Yeah.
I saw
Clay.
it beforehand.
Clayton.
Clay in the movie, but I think it's
Yeah.
Jason Long.
Justin.
Ooh, yeah, maybe Justin.
Justin Long. He's
Great
in
guess.
Dodgeball. I just wrote down. Love this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. I couldn't name 5 movies he's in, but when I see him, I just think of Dodgeball. I'm like, this guy's great. Love this guy. But you also find out his parents don't like her, right? She's not good enough. So and she's not good enough anywhere.
Can you imagine hearing that as a significant other, though? Like, oh, what a gut punch.
Yeah.
I wrote down OOF. Like, oof.
Yeah.
Oof. That was a tough one. But yeah, that guy is. I like him. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Didn't know
Yeah.
he was in this movie prior to. I didn't look up anything prior to watching this one.
And here's for your story, the little coin gift shows back up later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a coin
Good-
collector, right? It's like a
good-
1923 quarter or something.
Yeah.
You know,
good,
standing
good
liberty.
Fully
wraparound.
minted.
We'll get to
Yeah.
it, but it's a great wraparound. Great
Yeah, it's,
story. Checks the box on the triangle.
odd at the beginning, right? Why is
Yeah.
this guy collecting coins? They're out there.
They're
I used
cool.
to have the little. Did
Cool.
you guys have the little
State
Yep,
quarters.
like folder with the quarters of each state? You know, and as they
Yep.
come out, you
I had
plug
a-
them in there.
I had a portrait of it, man, and like,
Yeah,
You
I had
would.
like a.
You would.
It was like a big like folder, but like binder almost, and you just
Yep.
open it up to a map, and you just plug those things in there.
Every
So,
time I see a quarter that's a state quarter, I have to see what state it is. I have
yeah,
to.
or you just get it and you like look like, hey man, guess what
is
state
that,
this is?
is that
Yeah,
still an
have to.
ongoing?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, mine wasn't color coded. It was just all blue, but this is exactly what I had. I don't think I ever finished it because I don't know when all the quarter are they. I'm assuming
They've
made
updated them
because they've now not done. They now do non-states like monuments and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had that. Super. As a kid, you're sick. Awesome. You
I think
find
my
a new quarter to
fourth
plug in.
grade class had one of these like in the class, and we learned about all the states and what their quarters meant or something like that.
I mean, good for us.
This is now a
rebranding
coin
money.
podcast. I think
Yeah.
I'm now locked in.
Learn the history of coin
Yeah.
here at Extra Butter. She gets back to the office. You got my sandwich wrong.
Oh,
I said no mayo.
Did you
No,
guys
you
remember
didn't, Stu.
immediately? Yeah, you guys remember
Oh, yeah.
immediately when he said that. You're like, no, you didn't. No.
no.
Exactly.
That's not what you said.
I was like,
didn't
you
say
got
that.
mustard, dog. Like,
Yeah.
and
I
wanna-
said no mayo.
And to your pushover point, she took that too. Like,
Yeah.
you said, and another thing, the boss is just sitting there. You didn't hear him say mustard. You're not gonna have her back. Like,
Yeah.
Hey,
you're
boss
a
is
dickhead
busy.
too.
Boss is busy. You don't have time to think about what she
It's
said
just
or what he said.
Corporate office, just
Yeah.
big dick swinging, protect the boys. Like, this guy's got no backbone. They say she doesn't have a backbone. This guy's got no backbone.
Mm-mm.
Standing up for somebody that you're considering for promotion for a guy you met last week. Get out of here, buddy.
Ooh, I'd walk.
Yeah. Ouch.
Screw you.
And honestly, to what you said, where he doesn't have her back and she lets them walk on him, got her to the point where shit hits the fan because she
Yeah.
goes back out to her desk and now she's pissed off. And in comes Ganish, the old lady who is grungy as all get out.
Yeah.
Creepy old woman,
Makes
just
your skin crawl looking at her.
Oh,
like just on the desk, just the grossest little nails you
I
can
freaks
find.
you out immediately too.
She was casted great, I thought.
oh yeah.
The look, the wardrobe, her
The
acting,
voice.
their voice, I mean, everything about her character was
Is that
spot
chick
on.
in anything else? I would imagine if she's in anything else,
Definitely.
it's a scary movie.
Yeah, Yeah,
You
she
think,
fits the
right?
mold. When I looked up the cast and I saw who, like her outside of that character, she looked familiar.
Yeah, I
But
I
thought
I
so.
don't
don't
think
know.
you guys will know any of these films she's in.
Scary
Really?
movies, though.
So, not all of them.
I could see her
I
being
don't
in like a
think.
Spanish or like a Hispanic movie, you know,
Hey,
like a
she's in
foreign movie.
Sinbad: The Fifth Voyage. So
Oh, favorite. But no, she enters in. Ganesh is just something else. This is probably her number one. Yeah. Okay.
She's an NYPD Blue. I mean, you guys can't forget that.
Yeah. Right.
To your point, Brendan, where you said she might be in Spanish stuff, she is Russian in the movie.
is she really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
no
like,
way.
or like Eastern Europe.
You can get that from the voice because later in the movie you meet her niece, like definitely Russian, Eastern European voice.
Yeah, but I'm just saying to your point, you're saying she's probably in some other like Mexican movies. Like,
Is she physically Russian?
I don't know.
Because if she's not, then your point it doesn't matter. Because if she's Spanish, then she could be cast in a Spanish film. I thought she looked that way. Who cares? Played a great role here. The one thing that stood out to me about that scene though is like her dentures,
Ugh.
like that noise.
Oh,
I had the AirPods in, dude, and it just
and she
makes your
rolls
skin
in,
crawl.
hacking that phlegm up, man. Oh,
Nasty.
Just a classic old person handkerchief too. Just stuff it back in.
yeah. Oh.
Those things are.
I
I
love
hope
when
they carry
she.
one
I love
day.
when she goes in and Christine asks for the boss to be like, "Hey, like, can we give her one more go?" And you look back at her, and she's like stealing all the candy and shit.
She had to take her teeth out.
Yeah.
just to pop one in,
Oh.
dude. And then respect when Christine walks back out after making the
Yeah, put the teeth
decision.
back in. Yeah, sorry
And then
about
that's when you get the
that.
like, dude, it was terrible. I hated it. Couldn't stand it.
I was wearing these watching too, so I had the same effect.
Yeah, it was. Ugh. I was in there. I was in her mouth. That's where I was. It's bad. Not a place you want to be. Not in Grandma Ganish's mouth.
Oh,
No.
I am so pumped to hear your thoughts on the next part of this.
When she denied the loan.
Farther, but yeah, let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean the denial of the loan just sets her off, and she begs, and just the wrong time to put your foot down. Like you're just taking it from these pricks you work with, just getting put down, sent to lunch. You got the wrong sandwich when you didn't, eating shit and liking it, and then you just decide you're gonna put your foot down on this old woman who you've already extended to twice on her loan, and now all of a sudden because of those assholes, now she's gonna feel it. And then your whole life gets turned upside down.
Like it's her fault too. Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here like you're begging and then you're blaming her. Like, does this movie still happen if it's another employee? You know what I mean? It's just you're blaming her for you didn't pay your mortgage. It's the bank denying you. This chick's just here for a paycheck, man. Come on.
Yeah, I think. What was I gonna say? I think the fact that she's so nasty and just gross.
Oh.
At the end of the day, like in reality, you're giving her an extension just to get her the hell out of here. Go, get out. It's worth her loan. Her payment on her loan is probably a few $100. House is so old. You know what I mean? Like it's really not that big of a deal.
If she's on her hands and knees, like now we're making a scene, and then you're still gonna just kick her out the door. Like, yeah, I mean, I know it's the path of least resistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long did she say she lived at that house?
Her whole life.
Yeah.
Her whole life. And she still has a fucking mortgage?
It's a great question. There was a lot of small details.
Those are 30 years. Come on.
I'm not the biggest critique as mentioned prior on this show, but I had
I'll eat this movie alive.
I had a lot. So didn't have that one, but
could have refinanced, boys. Could have, took out a second mortgage.
She probably wasn't the interest. I mean, the interest she probably was barely paying, and she was probably just paying the interest every month.
Oh, that house might have been paid off the first 30 years, and then you get into a hard spot. You got to remortgage it, and take the cash out.
Well, that's stupid.
And she seemed like she didn't have it.
No.
Did she look smart?
No.
Up for opinion,
There you
I think. Yeah.
I'm not here to
But she
judge.
also had a glass eye, like we can't.
Was that glass? Is that?
I don't know. That's what I
missed
thought
that.
of. It looked real, but I don't know.
I thought the eye looked good.
Probably
Whether it's
yeah,
saw
contact
in
or not.
4K. Probably saw in 4K. Yeah, could have been a camera.
Could have sold her eye then.
Good point.
her
Pawn shop would've
leaving the
taken it.
bank, her getting escorted out when they called security, and then like turning around and diving back, like
Is that the first get
they
you?
got me. They got me.
Yep. Got me
Like
too.
I think the headphones matter. I think I'm gonna watch all the horror films this way, unless I can just pump my volume on my TV or I'm in the theaters. Like
Yeah, it can't
those
be.
little
It can't be
things.
volume coming straight at you. You
No.
have to have side to side. You have to. You have to have.
And I think, Geese, how did
surround
you
sound.
watch it? Did you just watch it on your computer or TV? Did you have headphones in?
I didn't have headphones in, so I watched it on my iPad. So I am like
Yeah.
holding it like this, watching it. I did get jump scared a little, at points in the movie for sure.
Well, I think
There-
the sound has a lot to do with jump
Oh
scares
yeah,
too.
completely agree.
Yeah,
So I
there were
think the
times that the
headphones-
sound came first to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So-
So I think that's what really did it.
So the attack got me right away. And then they go down to the garage. You see her car, eerie music, right? She's not in there.
I'm immediately running out of that garage,
Dude,
I see that person's car. I'm out. I'm sleeping in the office.
But at the
I
same
don't know.
time,
You
At
gotta,
the same
you gotta
t-
be,
yeah.
you gotta be a big boy. You know, if
That's
you're
an
not a chick, if we're putting ourselves in the shoes of this person, you gotta be a big boy. This old lady, come on, let's see it. Let's
Yeah,
see it. What
I
do you got
thought
in
the
that?
same
What do
thing.
you got in that car?
and she hadn't cursed her yet, right? So like she had
Yeah.
no reason outside of just like this woman's creepy to be scared of her, and she attacked her, right? But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, she's in her prime of her life, right, Chris? In her prime of her life, Christine. I know they called her Chris. We got Critter in the background. Didn't mean to talk to you there, Crit. Chris is in the prime of her life. It seems like they're in a good age. They're getting, they're borderline getting engaged. This lady's pushing 80. I don't know. I don't know how old she was. But you
Easily.
gotta think you can win that fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, as a girl,
Yeah.
I agree. As a girl, I agree. Though it's creepy. As a guy, if you're walking through there, you hadn't seen the voodoo shit yet. Like,
That's fair.
what is
That's
she
fair.
gonna do to me? Like,
Oh,
I'm not hand up. I'm not gonna fight an old lady.
I
Don't
will.
come at me. Don't come at me. Put your hands on me.
Right.
But that scene, they set they get eerie music. She's already kind of freaking out. Gets
Can
to
we
her
get
car.
some lights? Can we get some lights in the
In
parking
a horror
garage?
movie? In a horror movie, Trav, you want lights?
The bank didn't look that big. What is this garage?
Right.
As well. Where
Right.
is
It's on the main floor.
It wasn't even in a location to have a parking garage.
Yeah.
They're in a small town. This is a
And it looked underground, so it could be plausible that it was under the bank. It did look
it's a
underground.
brick and mortar store. There's parking out front. Like,
It looked like a busier street. I can see where there's a parking garage where, she gets validated parking. I can see it.
Crit, when you
Wasn't
get a
busy.
second to find where the movie was took place, I don't actually remember that, but just to your point, Trav, how busy of a town are we in? But then like she's in her car, gets in, she's freaking out, can't get the key going, unlocks, boom, in, lock it, we're good. Here comes the handkerchief. Not
Ooh.
dirty, by the way, clean as a whistle. Floating through, obviously, that part is a little bit of the possessed side of things. Smacks the windshield. That kind of got me a little bit too. But then she turns to find it on the back, and it's just the silhouette of this woman in her back seat, bro. I didn't jump at that point, but like that's like those scenes, like with the music, like that's where the goosebumps start to go, and that's why I'm saying like they had a lot of good eerie scenes that could get you going a little bit.
but then it pulls you immediately out of it by her acting. I don't mean to shit on her, but put yourself in that. Like, I don't mean to make it like super realistic either, but you just turn around, you're like, where's the
nitpick-
reaction? Like, where is? Oh yeah,
yeah,
it is LA. So
to
maybe there is a parking garage, but
to nitpick, just in general horror movies, you could do it all day long. But like a perfect example of this is like how'd the old lady get in there? Like,
Yeah,
you're gonna hear it go.
I'm
You're
willing
gonna
to
hear the
put
door
that
go,
away, but like
and then
like
get in
where's
there
the
and
reaction? It takes me out of the movie because it's just so dry.
I
And
don't know.
to your point, Trav, it's like when you're watching that scene, like she's going to show up. So when she got in
Right.
the car and shut the doors, you knew she was in there.
I thought she was gonna bang on the glass.
Yeah, and that might have been a little bit more of a jump scare, but the back seat, you see it coming. To your point, Chris didn't do a great job. I mean, there's parts she was great, parts not so good. I think I looked her up. I don't think she's been in a ton of she's been in movies and TV shows, but not a whole lot of.
She looked familiar.
She did
look familiar.
Yeah, she looked like the girl from The Boys, a little bit. I thought, but I've never seen The Boys.
Too.
Yeah, that's who I thought it was at first, but it wasn't, and that's why I looked her up and saw she wasn't in a ton of things that we would recognize. But that scene too, this woman's got some strength, man. Not like the old lady. We're banging into cars, we're sending her face off the dash, they're getting into it, and this woman is
windows,
getting back up, dude, getting back up, and when she's outside, and you're gonna have to remind me on this part, but when she does Spartan kick her out the door, and closes the door, and then she just drops. Can somebody remind me how she got back? Oh, she got the cinder block.
Yeah,
busted the window. Drive away, run her over. This goes back to nitpicking horror movies because they're never going to do the thing that they should be doing.
Right,
the
good ones do. The good ones do,
and then they'll get you on the. Yeah, then they'll get you on the flip because you think they're out of it.
Yeah, she's looking down there, and you just drove that way. Where'd the fucking cinder block come from?
Get out of there.
Yeah.
Get out. Back up. Run her over. I don't care. Kill her.
At
this point, she's got some kind of superhuman strength, right? I mean, she's getting tossed around like a rag doll.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. And then we find that out, right? She gets drug out of the car. Whatever, putting her hand out, rips the button off, and then that's where the story really begins.
No,
the button.
We missed a part where she gets her teeth knocked out, and then just sucks her face.
So I think that's when her face hit the dash. But I think she had to do that in order to talk. I think. I think the reason why she was focused on getting her teeth back in was because she had to. One, she could bite her because those teeth were gnarly. Yeah. Two, I don't think she could have talked without them. So, to cast the curse, I think she had to have her dentures in.
No, yeah, not her picking the teeth back up. Just that's where I think the special effects really shined. Were those face to face reactions. I think all the special effects outside of the close up shots were complete ass. But when she's just sucking on her chin, dude, I was just ugh.
Sorry, boys, needed to throw that one in there.
Perfect example of how are you not dead?
It's a ruler.
Yeah, metal ruler. Metal. It was metal.
Was it? Okay. I thought it was just plastic. I was like,
no, I think she stuck that thing in there though, and you heard it connect.
I was right to her brainstem.
Well, then she spit it out.
Yeah.
Don't show Antonio Brown that.
Like a bullet too.
Hey, don't show Antonio Brown that. He might be asking what her ad is.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Curses the button, takes it back. Think nothing of it. She passes out. I think the curse kind of got her. And then the cops are there, the whole scene, and the story kind of begins after that.
I do like the fly. The little fly is
kind of consistent too.
No, yep. And yeah, I always associate that, and especially how it lands on her face with not necessarily death, but decomposing.
Yeah,
and the fly's just hanging out there.
Well, and it was kind of an imminent death. Yeah, she was going to die.
Flag, I guess.
I have to talk about the next scene when they're walking. She gets back with Clay, and they get to the fortune teller, right? And all I could think about was you, Alex. Every single reaction from Clay of how bullshit is this? We're really gonna pay for this? What the hell are we? Let's just go home. She wants to do it. Oh my God, man!
I've been in that situation exactly, and will you just relax and let me do this? All right. And then you're just making faces in the bag,
it was
what
so
the hell
relatable.
Are we talking about? Oh,
the most relatable scene of the whole movie.
Yeah, I was all in on that guy. I was all in on Clay. What are we doing here? You're missing a button.
I would have got.
You saw it on your hand.
I would have went for a 2-for-1 and see if you could read my cards too. See if we get a pogo deal here.
He wasn't even supposed to be in there. It felt like, and he's just like,
right.
No, I'm hanging out. I got to see this crock of shit we're doing. It reminded me of the palm reader and Before Sunrise. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you pay them, they're going to tell you something. You know,
Yeah. And
this
it's
guy
going
was
to
on
be
his shit.
it's going to be a general thing, but he definitely was more supernatural.
Well, this guy was on his shit though. Yeah, he definitely was on his shit. I think it was Ron Joss.
$60.
Ron Joss. And like you knew it was legit when he's like, "I'll take your money back, man. Just leave my building."
Yeah.
Yeah, get the fuck
whatever
out of here.
whatever is wrong with you, I want no part of. Which would be terrifying if you were in that situation and it was your significant other, and they were like so adamant about doing it, and you're in there like, you know, just total jerk off, like this shit is stupid, and they say something like that, like, dude, hand you your card back, refund it, here's your cash back.
Which
like,
you got to
get
give
out of
him
here.
credit though, because he was saying like the things that he noticed, like the button or whatever. It's pretty obvious. He could have seen it. Those things that he pointed out were, you know,
You work with money, I thought was
obvious,
it's a shot in the dark, could be hit, could be missed, but like most people at some point of your job deals with some kind of money, whether it's negotiations or contracts.
Yeah.
Like money's pretty vague. So that one felt like maybe maybe that's just a common shot in the dark he throws out there because it's usually going to hit.
Right.
But yeah, he did end up knowing his shit, and he's like, I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for as spot on as he was, like he did do what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, and like I wrote it down too. When he says someone has cursed you, that would have bothered me in the back. Like if I was behind my wife, like, okay, hold on, buddy.
But if she must have had some amnesia and like not remembered exactly what happened, because when he says that, you go, oh yeah, I was in this parking garage and this old chick took her dentures out and started sucking on my face.
The same day.
You know,
That was 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
And we're doing this shit, bro. Like,
however,
you don't mention that?
However, they do talk about true, but they did at least kind of address that later when she goes home alone immediately, right? Clay's got to go. You're good, babe. Shit hits the fan again. Devil's coming around. I thought those scenes were pretty good of the shadows of the devil or the
goat.
Lamia, the goat, you know. And then they call the cops, right? Somebody obviously hit you, whatever. Or maybe they didn't, but she had a doctor come over and whatever. They get to the point where the doctor says PTSD essentially. Like, you know, so like in that moment at the fortune teller, how much is she going to remember to actually tell him outside of just the very general facts? So they at least addressed that part, but yeah, very odd not to mention the fact that this psycho lady just
sucked your face.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention the other scene in the parking garage. She fucking left hooks this window, shatters it, right? And then just opens the door. It was locked. She locked that door. And then she just opened it after the window broke. And then the second scene
might open from the inside.
Is the scene that we were talking about right now. She gets socked in the face by the counter as this massive brew, putting ice on it. 5 seconds later, completely gone.
That's a common theme, though, because I've got a lot of those. At least one huge one.
It's a common theme in movies that suck.
Yeah. It's cool.
It's such a small detail. Like,
give me the budget.
It was $30 million. This movie did pretty solid. $30 million budget, $90.8 million box office.
What did you say got box office?
$90.8 million.
Okay. I'm sure they didn't spend $300 million on advertising like Warcraft.
So we profited here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why we're doing number 2.
Yeah.
Well, the studio certainly did, because I doubt half these actors got paid well.
Well, then after that is when you get the fly scene when they're in bed after the doctor leaves. The fly flies in. The window opens in the middle of the night. Fly flies in. Thought it was kind of a cool, like something I didn't really think we'd get in a 2009 movie where the fly landed on the camera. You got that angle of it.
I love that scene. Yeah. I'll hand up. I remarked on that. Like, I really like that.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, and then goes up her nose, out the other nostril, and then finds its way into her mouth.
Yeah.
Instant cough. Love that.
Yeah, gets up, doesn't think much about it, right? But something obviously woke her up. But the fly scene was cool, and the fly became, obviously, I wouldn't say necessarily important, but it stuck around for quite some
It
time.
definitely lets you know when demonic shit was going down.
Well, and she had that nightmare where the lady's back on top of her puking maggots in her mouth.
Was this the scene where it was just maggots?
It was like maggots and beetles and shit. Like in the bed, she's on top of her, and then she wakes up. It's morning, and she's like, "I couldn't wake up."
Okay, so not
Yeah,
because I know that happens a couple times. I just couldn't remember if the other one was at this point too.
And I think that got me too. Like quick, like turns over to see her husband and the woman on top. Like the headphone piece, couldn't recommend it more for scary movies because I think that aided to a lot of the jump scares in this. But yeah, I literally wrote down all the jump scares because they did a good job at that part. And all I could think about that whole time was that, like, before she left work, they gave her that case to like finish.
Yep,
I was thinking about that too.
I remember
no
the
way.
morning, like, she didn't finish that case.
Yeah,
they didn't finish that case. And then she gets to work. Stu just scheming, right? Coming down to learn. She's bugging out, and he's like, you get the fingers back, right? And get your your pig knuckle off my desk. Blood everywhere. Just you're bleeding a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's just and then she like the funny part about that scene, because I was okay with the blood because whatever, she's possessed or this demon, whatever. But when she covers her mouth and it just goes straight, just blasting out her nose, just a freaking fire hose of blood coming out her nose. All over her boss, like that was crazy.
And the boss's reaction: "Did it get in my mouth?" Like, dude, you'd be like, "Oh."
"That guy's so nonchalant."
Yeah, I know it's a horror movie, and I know I'm being critical of it, but come on, man! Like, I honestly think this movie actually has more potential than what was given to it, just because
you just wait for the second one.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm actually kind of hyped for the second one.
Yeah.
Like, at least the CGI is advanced enough that they can still be cheap with it and it'll look good.
I think there's enough about that movie that we did like, or that it did hit home, like in terms of effects or scares or plot, whatever it is, like that you would watch the newer one because of the advancements that we'll probably see. Because I thought they did a good enough job there. But yeah, the blood just fire hosing out her nose. I was like, it was crazy. Like, okay, that part, that little over the top for me. But that, again, yeah, scary movies exaggerate it. It's kind of a possessed exorcism type movie. Like you expect it, but that was a little much for me.
Stu's a little snake. Stu's a little snaky.
Scheming, dude. Snags that case study or the her whatever project she's working on.
It's the big loan.
Yeah, her big deal. Like trying to close that big deal. Snags it, and he's just a little snake in the grass. And then she's like, I'm done with it. Like, I'm finding Ganesh. Like, and I wrote down beforehand, soon it will be you who comes begging to me, after she cursed her. And then coming up on kind of the midway point of the movie, she does show up. And that's where you get the Russian niece. I think it was her niece that she ends up living with. And she's just dogging her out front, right? Like, don't lie to me on my front porch.
Yeah,
I see through all your shit.
Well, she's blaming her too for it. Like,
yeah.
It
wasn't me. It was
life.
It was my boss. It
was you though. She did call her ass out. I did like that.
Yeah, and I didn't really expect when she went in. It's kind of eerie, and then she gets downstairs, gets kind of like ran up on by a family member, and then it's like a big party down there. She's kind of freaking out, hearing some noises. Backs up, bang! Ganesh is dead.
Oh, this scene. Yep.
And falls, knocks the dead body over on top of her. She's like
classic,
puking on her, like this dead body's just
I almost
puking
threw up
over
that scene. I will not lie.
So,
like, I was dry hacking.
Question.
I had to pause it and put it down. It was so bad.
Question: Was that real, or was she dreaming it, or what? I felt
That
like
was real.
I felt like I missed like the transition. I felt like the transition was like she walked into a room and it was that happening. Like, we didn't hear any of that.
She was walking into the basement and it had the eerie music, and then like an aunt or some family member came behind her from another room and like transitioned it into the big room where everybody was at.
I feel like it would have been louder. That's.
I think they had
it got me.
I think they had music going on.
No, they had music and everything. It was just a celebration of life type deal or a funeral visitation.
I know. It's just odd to me that it was in the basement and it was such like a big space and you didn't
It's a
hear
massive
anything.
fucking house. You wonder why she couldn't pay her mortgage.
Trav, I don't think you heard it because like I'm not saying music in terms of the visitation. I think like her walking into that room, the focus was on how eerie it was. So like the music playing for the movie was like very odd. So it wasn't allowing you to hear what might have been going on in the other room. It was trying to build it up like something crazy was about to happen, and then it turned out to be like a celebration of life.
Okay.
The puke, yeah, that all was real. I mean, I don't know how she's puking dead, but whatever.
No,
and then another. The weird part is like every time she encountered this woman, she ripped her hair, dead or alive. Got a lock of her hair.
And put her face, in her mouth, essentially.
Every time. Every single time. And then I think she goes back to the fortune teller, right? And like they start talking about how it's the Lamia and the button is what she gave you. She cursed somebody must have cursed an item, gave it back to you that you own.
Mm-hmm.
They realize it's the button. And they're talking about like you could try to make a sacrificial like animal. And I work at a puppy shelter. I love animals. Like if that's me, we kill animals every day. Like kill a chicken, kill a cow. I don't care. It's gonna go to some kind of profit for you anyway. You probably eat meat and didn't see any vegetarian stuff. Like get out of here with that. Your life is turned upside down. This thing is haunting you. Like find
rat.
Anything but the kitten. Anything but the kitten. Anything but the kitten. Come on. Like anything but the kitten. Like you work at a puppy shelter and like all I was thinking about in that scene was their kitty the whole time. I was
hey, more of a dog person.
Same.
I put down like I swear to Christ if it's the kitten. Because he just knew.
Yeah.
He just knew.
And I like how I'll give props. They did kind of build it up. I know it's kind of a death flag, like, I'm not going to kill my cat. And then she gets her ass beat by the Lamia. And it's like, dude, fuck this, man. Like, first thing with 4 legs and a tail in front of me is going down. And it just so happened to be the cat. And then, like, think of from the cat's perspective. Oh, just coming up to get some cuddles. And then,
dude,
a lot of blood.
A lot of blood.
That cat does not have that much blood in it.
A lot of blood.
Whatever was in that cat, it came out.
I wrote down no with a frown face and then immediately a lot of blood. And you see the cat, right? And like that transition of like she just got torched in her bedroom. Everything is just absolutely torn apart. And then she's pulling the knife out and it just right into my gut. The cat's going down, dude.
Yep.
And then just go psychopath on it. Like not even I'm sorry I'm doing this to you. Like, quick slit of the throat, offer some blood. We're like, I don't know. And tons of blood. And then you see the cat. There's like 2 stab wounds in it. And it's huge. And the cat's huge.
And she ends up with 2 drops of blood on her shirt after that.
Right.
Oh.
And, hey, let's dig a little deeper because when you get home, Brendan, Trav, what's the first thing you fucking notice when you get home?
My dog.
My dog.
Yeah. Clayton comes home and just doesn't even question that the cat's not around.
Yeah, but cats are different.
I know that, but
it sounded
I guess it is within a day.
It sounded like it was her cat. It sounded like it was her cat too, because they weren't engaged and like obviously been together for a while, but like because the next scene's the dinner scene and that comes up like I had a cat and he's like you do have a cat, but like he didn't say we had a cat.
That was eerie. That was eerie how she said that
though.
It felt like he was possessed.
I agree, Trav.
She had, and he sees her out back with the spade, like blood on her shirt. There's a shovel behind her. Doesn't dig a little deeper. Then they question the blood, but like didn't dig too deep into that.
It's
like I don't know.
Juice. Like motherfucker, that's blood.
And I was cutting tomatoes. Like tomatoes aren't getting that red. Like tomato sauce, cutting tomatoes, you're not getting that red of like a stain on your shirt from that.
She easily could have said, "It's just a little leftover from the geyser that I sprayed out at work the other day."
That just
Yeah.
like went away, and she,
And
Yeah.
he didn't know. He
Yeah,
didn't know.
I had a
grabbing
couple.
her.
I had a couple drips from that.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
didn't know about that. She didn't get
No.
that.
Part of the
So
problem.
then, yeah,
Part of the
they
problem.
go. But Clay's a good guy.
yeah, but
Clay, I think Clay comes.
I like Clay.
Clay, I think the only asshole scene Clay had was in the palm or the fortune teller, and I think we all kind of felt that.
Yeah.
But they go to meet her parents, and apologies in advance to everyone out there named Trudy. Knowing what we knew going into that scene, what a bitch name that is. You know,
Yeah.
like Trudy. Just they kind of hyped it up already. You heard her talking on the phone, talking shit about her already, and then her name's Trudy. Like it was tough. I'm sure, there's some just absolute saints out there named
What was
Trudy. But
what was the dad's name again?
I don't even remember because he's kind of
I'm
irrelevant.
terrible with names.
I just
I
was
gotta
so
start writing
hung up
names.
on Trudy.
Leonard.
Leonard.
Probably Leonard.
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 Great dude.
Leonard.
Leonard.
And then you got Hecuba, the cat.
Oh yeah.
Immediately knows what she did.
Yeah.
Just hissing at her like, oh, she loves people.
yeah.
Like, well, because you killed a kitten.
Yeah.
You know, like that cat knew.
Or
Every
just-
animal knows.
She just
Animals
knows
know.
that she's possessed.
I'm a believer animals know too. Like
Oh yeah.
they get vibes from people, you know. And that cat was on her ass from the jump.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
this bitch ain't right. Maybe not as a person, but right now she ain't right. And then I also again wrote down after Trudy bitch name Hecuba knows she did it. Follow that up with another fuck Trudy. Like not a fan of Trudy. You're not running into that. And I think in a situation, let's just have open forum here. If you're in that situation and you're Christine, and that's how someone's talking to you, like your significant other's parents, you take a little bit of it, and then at some point, like you gotta feed it back.
I'm
Like you guys
snapping
feeding
pretty
that
quick.
back?
Oh, I'll walk out. Relationship's over. Fuck you.
I'm
Fuck
not a
you,
guy to do
and
that.
fuck
I
you.
know Geese is.
Yeah. No.
I'm not.
I would be respectful until she crossed the line. Like I would have just snapped.
There is a line for sure, but
I think
don't
there's a
he crossed it
threshold.
yet.
I think
especially when you're trying
to.
to be nice and you obviously heard the conversation. She talked shit about you beforehand, and you're coming in here, you're being nice, trying to give them a perspective of like I am successful, and she's still dogging on you. That's a big FO.
Yeah, I think there's a threshold there that at some point, like, look, I get it. Maybe you don't like me, or you don't like who you thought I was, but I am just meeting you now. Like, let's run this thing back and start over, you because you're not going to talk to me like this all night.
Presentation
Like, it's a
of the
conversation.
pie or the cake, whatever she made. Presentation of that could have been better. Wasn't good for her case. Did not look that great. I'll say that.
Agreed, but to another point, you got to eat the cake. Like I've watched too many cooking shows. Like the presentation matters a lot in cooking shows, but like there's still
we're dealing with
we're
dealing with Trudy.
Matters.
We're dealing with Trudy's out there, you know.
Fuck Trudy, dude.
I'm just saying.
Eat the cake. She liked it.
She
We
did.
found out later things got better because she ate the cake and liked it.
She did.
I'm going to back up here for a second just to pay homage to Christine when she got into the yellow dress. Thought everything was good. Kind of a smoke show. Got to shout her out for that. And she thought it was
nice.
Yeah, and like, because she was going through hell, literally. And then she thought going into that dinner that she was good, right? Killed the kitten, offered the blood. She didn't even think, like, she thought she was through it. And then what a terrible time for those things to start coming back. Cut the cake, eating the cake, eyeball pops out, swallows your fork, which was crazy. Nobody noticed that shit. Nobody even noticed when she was talking to Clay either, like whispering. It's like, it's a table of four.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like the fork getting swallowed, eyeball comes out, noises on the door. Horrible timing for that. They already don't like you. Leonard tried. Leonard liked her. Leonard didn't care, but the mom was the sole proprietor of the fuck.
You
Christine
can't come
tree.
back from that either. Like, let's say you guys live happily ever after. That's still in the back of the mind, man. Like that.
You went nuts at our first dinner party.
And you know she's going to her book club and her coffee dates with her friends and just like, my son, I don't know what I'm going to do with him. He brought this insane bitch into my house and she had a manic episode.
When I think if you like I know we've talked a lot about horror movies and kind of the non-realistic part of it, because obviously most of them aren't. The best ones are, as we alluded to. But if that did happen in real life, and then she coughs out a fly, like, because that's when the fly comes back, right? She coughs out, like, I thought she was just gonna yak like crazy shit, like Ganis or whatever her name was doing, Ganish, and she just hacks up that fly. If that happened in real life, I was thinking about like how I'd react to that. I would prior to the fly getting coughed up, you're thinking she's nuts, and then she coughs up a fly, and then at that point I would be like, okay, there's something more to this. Like, I don't know, get out of my house.
It's time for you to go,
Bro.
But like that would sit with me forever. Like, what the hell was going on with that person? Because like that's not normal.
I would be fully on the possessed bandwagon. Like, total overreaction. Don't care. That motherfucker's possessed. That motherfucker is not real.
Well, that's where it almost got real, because like they reacted like she ain't right. But like, to me in real life, if that happened, is when I would have been like, okay, I'm gonna hold off my judgment here because something's wrong with this girl.
Right.
Like,
I see what you're
something's
saying.
wrong.
Yeah, I see what you're
And
saying.
like in the movie, they're just like, oh, she's nasty. But like a fly getting coughed up and the roaming around, like that's when it would have clicked for me. If I already had the prior to that, like, okay, I'm sick of this chick for my son or future son or future daughter, whatever. Like, when the fucking fly gets coughed up, I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm gonna pull that all back in and be like, this chick needs help, because that ain't right.
I'm missing context.
Yeah,
Is there
that's
no
when
shadow following you around?
Yeah. Study up on my demon possessions.
Oh, you know you would too if you're that type of mom. Like, you're deep diving into everything that has to do with just behavior like that, and you're gonna go down such a deep rabbit hole. I picture my mom kind of doing that, just investigating, figuring it all out. I could just see, what's her name, Trudy, do that.
Trudy. And then, kind of fast forward a little bit, like, she needs the help. You got to come up with $10,000 cash, which seems crazy, but at this point, right, like, if this is me, I'm doing whatever I have to do. Like, we've got to figure this out. 10 grand, I'll find a way to get it. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
She goes to get the advancement and the promotion, can't get it. Promotion stalled. Stu, fuck him. We'll get back to it.
You would think with that, yes, she goes into the bank and asks for the advancement. You think she'd be able to get a short-term loan. Work at the bank. Like, you write loans,
Yeah.
you know you can do that.
Just do it
Yeah.
yourself.
Is your credit bad? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, commit every fraud, like, illegal move in the books as a worker of a bank and get yourself $10,000.
you ain't getting the
Out of
promotion
all
to do
places
that,
she
though.
could have worked, that was the best place to get the cash.
But you're not going to get the promotion that way if you caught. You know? She got to
I
play
know,
nice.
but she was, but at that point, like, I don't care. Like, give me all the legal issues.
Right. You already played too nice once. And the
Yeah.
court caught you.
And then she sells everything, right? Like, only gets $3,800 pawn shop. They're never going to give you full price. That hurt. The $3,800 hurt. But the garage scene, dude, I put down, good God, that scared the shit out of me, because I was not ready for that jump scare when she showed up. Same breath, though. The garage scene had it all. The jump scare, showing up, eeriness, like, thrown back a little bit, and then the anvil, that Tom and Jerry style anvil or whatever that was, hanging from the top turnbuckle, gets sliced down on Ganish's head. Doesn't crush her. That was the time where I was like, okay, the CGI is not great. The eyeballs just pop out, slime everywhere. Like, that looked like some Jimmy Neutron slime.
Some Roger Rabbit type shit, man. Like,
yeah, like that part was the one where I was like,
But
okay,
it
this
is an
is
imagination, though. Like, it's a
true.
It's a vision, so it can't be perfect.
That's a good point. That
And
none of that was
it's
ever real.
supposed to be a little like, exaggerated.
Yeah, so I guess, like,
fair.
Actually,
to any time the woman was in, like, even with the maggots, right? She wakes up and they're gone, like, clearly, because it didn't happen.
right.
Like, that didn't happen either. She still cut down the thing, I think, but like the eyeballs popping out, obviously, yeah, like none of that was actually happening. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. But that part did stand out as kind of the CGI effect that was iffy.
Could have been better.
And then Clay, the man, the real OG comes through, pays it. Like he finally is like, I've not believed a word of this bullshit that you're going through, but I'm standing by you. Something's not right. He saw the fly get coughed up, and he probably was a little bit shaken up.
Did you guys think at all during the movie that he was going to get caught up and hurt at all?
No.
I didn't once.
No.
But most of the time in scary movies, you think like the significant other is going to get. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird that this movie you didn't feel that.
What's it called? Deus Ex Machina or whatever it's called. Like he's just there to facilitate the story. Like that's his character.
I would love to pause and take a look at whatever he just said because I don't. Deus Ex Machina.
I've pull that up, Trav. We're learning vocab on these, baby. Load it up.
I ain't pulling shit up.
Trav to pull it up. Guy doesn't even know names.
Yeah. This is me.
Where's our producer at? Crit,
we need you on the Deus Ex Machina. I'd love to see that Google search plug in and find out what pops up because if it's a real thing, it's a great question.
Machina.
Wasn't what he said.
Don't ever trust Alex's grammar.
Trav, did you get Machina or Machina?
I'm a stickler. Remember, I'm a grammar stickler.
Machina.
Plot device where a seemingly unsolvable problem in a story is suddenly resolved.
No, that's it.
That has to be right. If it popped up, that has to be right.
No, yeah, that's it.
So what is it?
Refers to a plot device where a seemingly unsolvable problem in a story is suddenly resolved by an unexpected or artificial intervention. So that would be Clay's character always coming in to provide.
You're stretching it. You're stretching it.
I said that was his character for him. Just like he's not really in the movie. Like I'm not invested in him. And he just shows up out of nowhere. Here's 10 G's. Here's me taking you to the fucking fortune teller. You know, like
I wouldn't consider him this.
Survey says
He's a plot device.
I don't know about that. That's just, I like the boot. I like the poll. That's an incredible poll.
Yeah.
It's close. I don't think he necessarily fits the mold, but like in terms of just knowing movie terms or whatever the hell that was, hats off to you, buddy. I never heard that in my life.
You're getting the red X from Steve Harvey.
That's fine. Hey, so, shoot or shoot.
Chance to steal.
Fuck you guys.
But hey, Clay, great guy.
Dog.
I mean, prior to The Fly, there's got to be considerations of just leaving her, right?
Oh, I'm out.
The Fly, I think we hit on The Fly pretty heavy, and I think that from my point of view and what I said, like at that point I'm in because now I'm like, okay, you're actually something is wrong. Prior to that,
yeah,
based on whatever he may or may not know, how many times are you thinking about like, I'm out of here, you know? So shout out to him, comes up with the cash, buys into it, and then they end up at the OG house, like the first scene. So there was a lot of good parts of this movie of bringing things back around, bringing things full circle. The house comes back.
You knew that was coming, though.
Yeah, with the 10 grand and the who, like they were talking about, I thought it was going to be this chick.
I forgot. Like
she literally says, "I'll see you again" in the intro. They told you that it was coming back.
Oh, sorry, dude. I was bought into the movie. I wasn't just planning on her coming back around. My bad.
I paid attention to the movie. Sorry.
Sean Sandina is her name. Wrote that one down so you guys didn't have to. She's the medium. When they bring the like they got the plan. They go into the other side of the house. Right. This is where the movie started. Sick house. Old sick house. And they bring the goat out. Like, that is, like, it just got me back to the kitten. Like, that is what you kill. Like, sacrificial lamb, goat, goats are kind of...
She's a rookie, well, yeah, and what's her face
kill your own goddamn pet. Kill your neighbors. I don't care. Kill your own pet.
It has to be a farm animal. Everyone knows.
Trav, right now, you're possessed. You got to kill an animal. And it comes down to your dog or your neighbor's dog. Who you kill?
Not mine. I'm with you.
Not yours, right?
I'm with you.
Kill your neighbor. Like, find something. Cool house, but like the goat trots out, rather than not trots, they drag that motherfucker out there.
Yeah.
And like the goat is, and I don't know the exact terminology or resemblance, but the goat typically kind of resembles anything that has to do with the devil. Like a lot of devil symbols have the goat involved, so it makes sense. But like that's the animal you kill. Like you kill like livestock. You don't kill a domestic pet.
Her
like a kid.
her plan was sick. Like the idea of what she wanted to do and be like, we're gonna bring this sucker out. There's gonna be others coming with it. And when he possesses me, drag my hand on this goat and then you're gonna slice his head off. I mean, the nuts on the table
Oh,
full.
yeah.
It was,
you know what I mean?
I mean, to a T. I mean,
To a
we
T.
had everything thought out. Except
Yeah.
for the fact that we didn't have the thought out that maybe you're gonna not kill the goat, and then
Yeah.
shit hits fan. Everybody's got a game plan to the punch in the mouth.
Could we have maybe made a better plan and put the goat next to the guy that's got to slice it, or is that part of the distraction?
Or like put it in a fucking cage, you know? Like, let's secure that goat down a little bit before we, go to chop its head off. She had years to plan this fucking thing, and it was half baked at the start.
Because think about it, where we're sitting in the round table, you got Chick, you got Christine with goat in between them, you got fortune teller guy, and then you got the other guy who's Ram Joss. He's too far away. Like he's got to climb over the table to get to slice the goat. I mean, the logistics just aren't there.
The plan, was awesome.
It sounded great. Execution.
Well, here's my question though, because the goat, it didn't matter where he sat, right? Like it wasn't Milos. It wasn't Milos's positioning; it was the goat's positioning.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you move Milos and Ram Joss, like he's still in the same spot. The goat was in between Chris and Sean. It's like he was never, no matter what seat he sat in outside those two, if the goat's in between those two, like he's got the same distance to travel.
And I do get the point where the demon wants Christine, so she's got to be the in between. Like the goat's got to be in between, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like maybe it's too big of a table. Maybe it's too big of a table. Maybe that's it.
But you got to have the hands out. But the hands out is a big horror movie exorcism thing. It's big.
But let's just take the center leaf out a little bit, so we get a little bit of range, a little less range on the machete. I think that.
She knows like how crazy this demon is, right? Like we see like when she says, "Kind of cool, something else is here with us." Good line, and you see these other demons coming in, right? Like walking in, and then she banishes them and whatnot. But like she knew the animal.
Badass, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean,
super cool. I thought that was like an underrated part of the movie. Like
it was my favorite part. The whole scene, this whole last little bit, was my favorite.
Interesting, because it's gonna have a great discussion then. That part was awesome. Like banish them, get them out. I'm here for the big dog. We're trophy hunting, but she knew the animal she was bringing into this room.
Yeah,
like you said, like the distance there, like plan great, execution not so much, but they didn't set themselves up for success.
No.
Because of the location.
Location, by the way.
You gotta have it. Side note to this, wonder if you guys picked up on this. All Call of Duty guys. When Sean Sandina gets Lamia to her prior to it going to the goat, and she starts talking, all I could think of was "Fetch me their souls." Like the Nazi zombie voice was what she was saying was like pulled straight out of Call of Duty. Like the actor or whoever's that voice is, I'd love to look into that because it sounded just like the original Nazi zombies from Call of Duty World at War.
Yeah,
Keener der Toten. I think
it's a common thing. I'm guessing they do it with like the producing and the editing of the voice. That tone and that like edit of somebody's voice is so common in horror movies, but I love it. I'm here for it every time.
Oh, dude, immediate nostalgia. Like I was all in on that. Now I will say, when Lamia went to the goat, very funny,
hilarious.
Very funny.
You tricked me.
Like that part was where we got a little. Like I remember if we rewind to the beginning of the podcast when I said we were on a boat and we went through a couple storms and it shook a little bit for me. Like this was one of those scenes. Like that goat talking and shit was like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, I didn't expect that at all until the Lamia enters the goat and it just gets a face and is talking. Like, I get it, but that's where the boat was shaking a little bit at that point.
Yeah,
for me.
But I enjoy a little toss in there, a little comedic relief, just a little bit, because it didn't last long.
Well,
Yeah.
here's my issue is like in the moment I didn't know it was a cult classic, which I think explained more to the comedy or the comedic relief to it. Like in the moment, I'm just thinking all I wrote down was 2009. Like I had to remind myself, like
Yeah.
this is 2009. The goat's talking, like dodges the machete. Milos gets now possessed, which then was fine. Like he was a little bit off too, but when he was in the center,
I thought they were gonna kill him. I thought they were gonna drop his ass in that fire.
Him
Just-
being possessed was sweet. Like his
Yeah.
like the features on his face and him like
Yeah, that's what I'm
talking and
saying.
shit was
Like
super
the
cool.
up close CGI passes, right? Like it's still good, but then it's like it just half like they spent their budget on CGI and the close up parts, and then everything else was like a fucking Muppet. And you're like, what the fuck we doing here?
yeah, I think that's like literally the reason why I wrote down the year in that moment because that's when it started to lose me, and I just wanted to like it felt like we were coming home in the movie
Yeah.
because like I said I wasn't checking the time. I was pretty invested, but it felt like we were coming home, and I like that scene happened, and I'm like it was intense, but a lot of kind of bullshit going on, and I was like 2009, like stay locked, stay like we're moving, we got to wave, like keep the sails, land hose, we're not far out. But the scene overall, yeah, I thought they did a great job. Milos was awesome. Fire goes out. She exorcises the demon from Milos, and you see it come out. I think the word they used was it left the seance, but they didn't kill it. It's like I think Ram Joss was telling her like what we learned there was that we can't kill it, like inside of a body or inside of a seance, and it cost Sean's life because of it. But they got it out, but it was still like you still own that button, like you're not safe. Tomorrow's day 4. Like it's coming for you tomorrow. You got to gift that thing to somebody else.
Yeah, it's coming for the owner.
But why not tell her that straight up? Or did he learn that from the seance? Like, did he know this the whole time? Like,
I think he learned it from the seance on what type of spirit they're dealing with. I think is what ended up happening.
Because in the beginning, they never got it to release from anybody. Now, granted, in the beginning, I don't know if anybody was necessarily possessed. The kid was just kind of getting bullied by things he couldn't see.
And that's where I was, I wanted to question it because she's getting her ass beat multiple times throughout this 3-day period. And this kid's just wrapped up in a towel. Like, I hear voices. I see shadows. Like that. He definitely took it easy on the kid on that one.
Yeah. Well, and then, like I said, right, like and I think he learns that because he's like, well, all we learned was we can't kill it inside of a body. Like, you need to get somebody else to take ownership of this button, or like tomorrow, like if 3 days are up, like it's coming for you, you're dead.
I immediately thought of Stu. Immediately.
I did too.
Immediately.
I did write down Stu ? It's going to be the night before the trip to Santa Barbara, or I think it was Santa Barbara. Get out to a cabin, like just Clay and Christine, like she's like, I got to do me. And now, granted, I have 2 questions here. One, the first one about the movie itself was, where was he going? Like, where was she staying and where was he going when he's like, we got to be there at 7:30 tomorrow, and he's dropping her off? Like, what was he doing? Or was she staying somewhere else? Like, this is where, like I said, the whole back end of the movie, the boat, we were going through a freaking storm because that was losing me.
Yeah.
What was that? Like, what was she doing? What was he doing? Like, he dropped her off. It looked like at home. He was not staying. We got to be at the train station. Like, what was that? Any thoughts on that scene?
I know they were going somewhere, but I don't.
And they weren't living together, right? So was he just going home?
I thought they were living together.
Maybe they were getting out of there.
Well, yeah, but you brought up the whole thing where it's like you come home and your cat's not there. Like, were they living together or they're not? You kept dropping her off and leaving.
I think the best explanation is like through the rockiness of this part of the relationship, maybe they were separated, but they never really made that clear. So when that scene happened at night, like we got to be up and at the train station, the 7:30 train leaves, and he was dropping her off during the night. Where was he going, or where was she at? I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
My best guess is that they kind of separated, but I don't know.
True.
Anyway, that was question 1. Question 2 is, when that scene happened, when he told her, you got to gift it to somebody, like, yeah, we thought of Stu. But I wrote down for food for thought for the boys, does anybody come to mind that you give it to?
Homeless.
Oh. Whoa.
Wow, was an immediate answer.
Whoa.
Guaranteed someone's gonna take it. Here you go, buddy. Here's $1 along with it, and no personal connection to them. And that's about that's about as far as it goes in my head. Offload it, some rando, readily available. I don't have to go set up a meeting with anybody, and yeah,
it's a great answer. It just came out quick.
It was quick.
Came out fast, but that was not kind of where my mind was going. Trav, did you got anybody or anything in your mind?
No, I think the scene where they're in the cafe, like the idea of giving it to an old person that's about to die, like I get it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what a terrible way to go. Possessed for your last 4 days of life.
So I guess since I came up with the question, I can at least give you guys somewhat of an example. But I was thinking about it, and I was watching that scene in the diner. Like, it would be very hard to like know what you're handing off to somebody unless you had somebody that you absolutely hated, which I really don't.
I got one now. But go ahead.
What I was gonna say, what I started thinking about was like, and let's say circa 2014 to 2016, something like that. Pat Beverly, when he dove in on Russell Westbrook trying to call timeout across the half court line and tore his meniscus, and the Thunder got bounced from the playoffs in the next series, would have handed it off to him. I'm sure my brother would have gave it to Eli Manning.
Yeah,
for winning a couple Super Bowls over New England. That's where I didn't immediately think like, oh, homeless guy, easy, done.
I'll give it to Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. That's where my brain was going. Like, who would you give it to? Like, Pat Bev in that moment was the public enemy number one for me because it cost us anything that the Thunder could have done back when KD was back there. So that's where my brain went. I don't know if that, I obviously helped Geese out in terms of thinking of somebody else.
Hey,
Trav?
Death row inmate.
Yeah, but you only have a day. Like, you're never going to get access to that.
I think you explain to like the guards or the whoever's.
I'm gonna give this button and it's gonna possess this dude and kill him.
Yeah, like
come on in.
Let me do this. Yeah, obviously that conversation's not gonna go very well.
Let me get a lineup for you. You can pick.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: like, he's gonna die either way. So you can trust me, you can not trust me. But can you guys give this? Can I physically hand this to him in shackles to take him or her, whoever's on death row? Bang. Your problem solved. You don't got to spend the money.
Yeah, if it doesn't happen, call me.
You're still going to kill him. Or you're still going to kill them.
Yeah.
It's a good answer. Those are good answers. A little bit more humane than a homeless person, I think. But,
yeah,
I mean, in terms of
that's
rough. You're targeting a professional athlete.
He ruined that. He ruined my life for like a certain amount of time. Or the referee that called holding on James Bradbury in 2022. Give it to him in the moment. Maybe not now, but like maybe him. I don't know.
Geese would have gave it to the former Bears owner.
Speaking of
McCaskey, that
would have been a good call.
Oh yeah,
would have been a good call. And then, but like back to the movie, she does think of Stu, gets him there, and just kind of pussies out of it. Like
folds.
Can't do it. He's crying, and then he freaking backstabs her, which we learn later, right? Like the next day, he's crying. Don't tell my dad. This is like a freaking 35-year-old man. Don't tell my dad I did this. Like, dude, you totally bagged her. You stole the case. She found out. Don't know how, but she did. Give it to him. Like, your conscience, like her conscience would have been clean, I think. And obviously it wasn't, or she would have done it. And then just, decides to keep it. And then I can't remember.
She goes over to the palm reader.
How can I forget?
Yeah, goes to the palm reader. They figure out they can give it to somebody who's dead, and she's I know where to go.
I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some. I'm shoving it down her freaking throat.
Yep.
So they learn she can pass it off to the dead body because their soul isn't dead.
Yep.
So this is where we almost fell off the boat at this scene. This is where we almost fell off the boat.
Abandoned ship.
Dude, the grave was dug extremely fast. Perfect mounds of dirt. Didn't even know if there was anything on the shovel, by the way. I think once I saw something. Also, perfect drainage for the rain to come flooding in there.
Yeah.
She gets in, shocker, right? Grabs her hair, rips it out. That happens again.
I'm going to say this as a guy. Hot scene.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I'm on board.
Good job.
I'm on board.
Sex
Come on.
appeal.
Come on.
Sex appeal.
I'm on board.
Sex appeal was there.
We got a triangle. We can't get all 3 points, guys. Wood.
I know
Wood.
you're talking about Ganish. I'm talking about Christine.
No, I am.
Sex appeal was there for sure. Great job because the scene itself was so bad. The flooding, Geese, this goes back to, and I've been waiting to get here because it goes back to the bruise on the mouth. In that scene, when the shit is just flooding the grave, the mud is, splashing. She's covered. She's not covered. She's covered. She's not covered. Like, it was just back and forth. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
Right. And you start focusing on that. It takes you out of the movie.
I didn't want. I knew what I was looking
down
at.
in a goddamn pit
at.
with a spade. Like, no fucking way is she digging that. Like, get the fuck out of here.
No, and like the mud was horribly executed. Trav, we know where your eyes were.
Bro, she's standing on the fucking lid that she pulls open.
White t-shirt party, Trav's mind was.
Yeah.
They tractor beams sucked me right in.
What even happened in that scene? Did she give it to her?
Oh, she gave it to her.
Oh,
I'd give
she's gonna get some.
She got hers. I'll give her that. She
stuffs it in there, rips her hair out. She gets fucking bashed on the head by the metal cross that would have
hold on.
knocked her
Before
out and
that,
killed her.
they're floating together, and doesn't she get her mouth on her again?
Again, yeah.
Oh yeah. Mouth, hair. Every time. Mouth, hair. But yeah, massive cross, bang, goes down. And the camera sticks around a little bit long enough to know she's coming out of there. Couldn't climb out before. Couldn't get a grip. Now she's freaking rock climbing and is able to crawl out of there. Now, I've always thought, and I'm curious on thoughts, don't have to spend too much time on it, but when something's flooding, it kind of gives you a little bit more ground because you can swim up, right? Like, that would help you a little bit. So, like that.
If you can swim.
True. It wasn't
slimy,
though. Dug a freaking hole.
Slimy. Would be hard to get out of there.
That's why I didn't understand climbing out.
Yeah, she did have something with the cross to use as leverage, I guess, but neither here nor there.
Yeah. Yeah, but that scene was where I even had, it was falling apart a little bit for me.
I thought the movie was going to end right there, honestly.
And she got rid of it, right? She got rid of the button.
Yep.
I
thought that was going to be end of movie.
Yeah. And I have to give credit where credit's due. That scene was so bad. But I will say the transition from her getting out and it was like daylight, but it was a transition to her in the shower was awesome. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible transition. And it's like the music comes in. It's a little bit happier. Like we're back.
That was probably 20 of the 30 million budget.
That transition.
Yeah.
Dude, that transition was awesome. But like the music's better. Like we're back. Her life is back. The Wicked Witch is dead.
Got the promotion.
The is gone. Promotion, money,
Stu's
nice clothes.
Yep.
Stu's hitting the road. He like tattled on himself or something, or he went back after she basically, without him knowing, gave him his life. Then goes and says she did it. They find out. Stu's promotion, shows up, sees the coat before the opens, got the cash, gets the coat, meets up with Clay. Beautiful ending.
He's going to propose too.
Had the ring.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Had the
red
ring.
flags. You know at this point what's kind of like going on because of the genre that we're watching, but there's always those death flags where it's like, oh, let's go get married, and then one of them immediately dies. Or
he didn't propose though.
No.
Get the foreshadowing.
Yeah, they foreshadowed it, but it's always those scenes where it's like, I love you, and then he dies. It's like this big emotional buildup, and then you cut him off.
Yeah, that's where I thought once again that he was going to be involved in something.
That's fair. I could see that.
And I'll say this.
Kind of was.
Kind of.
I'll say this, like, I think one of the Rotten Tomatoes, like, reviews that we read prior talked about how bad the ending was. Incredible ending.
Yeah.
Like, didn't see I like I said, I think I'm pretty sure I've seen this years ago, and I knew the ending. Like, I knew the ending was good because I talked to somebody else about what we were watching, and I just the whole time didn't really see it coming. And like that little like exchange of, oh, you like my new coat? Thought you had your old one. I've got your button. We're gonna sew it back on. I think you've got my quarter. You know?
Could you imagine your heart dropping immediately?
Oh,
Immediately.
Dude, your stomach would feel like 38 pounds, like just sinking.
Couldn't be worse. It couldn't be worse. Name me
No.
one thing that'd be worse. Name me one thing.
2 buttons. Yeah.
Yeah. She actually possessed this one too.
I thought when she was backing up, she was just gonna get
I did think that as
Smoked
well.
by the train.
banged by a train, and I thought the touch of actually the ending of Drag Me to Hell, of dragging her to hell, that was awesome. Great part. I thought the ending was like a really good twist. Not something that I
And her
expected
face
having.
melts and everything.
Her
I
eyes
kind
come
of
a
like
little
that
crazy.
One. Yeah, like
Yeah.
That was so
but yeah.
2009.
I was about to get pissed off because I thought the train was going to kill her. I'm like, you built up this whole dragging to hell shit. She just gets smoked by a train.
Yeah.
You know?
Now let's put ourselves in Clay's shoes, right?
Ooh.
What next?
I think
Like,
he's
how do you-
possessed.
I don't know.
I wasn't, I thought it was kind of open ended, and I wasn't. It's definitely not concrete.
He's
on
now
my
the
end, but
owner.
He's the owner of the fucking button.
Yep. Yep, we'll see. We'll see in part 2 what happens. But
Drag Me to Hell Part 2.
Oh,
if-
boy!
if I was him in this situation, probably give me a couple weeks, 3 weeks. Your mom had somebody to set you up with, I mean, maybe you go down that road.
I don't know, man. Like, that is a crazy thing to
Yeah.
witness. Like,
Sure,
that
he was
is-
right.
You're screwed.
Wasn't meant for him.
You're screwed emotionally, physically. You're cooked.
Before saying what I'm going to say next, I wanted to get like final thoughts. First horror, first cult classic. I think the cult classic aspect to it, Geese, has to do something for you.
No.
It has to. That movie did not suck. I thought it did a
That
good
movie was
job.
ass. That movie was ass.
The acting.
He's not
was
as
hit or
much
miss.
of a horror guy as we are.
I
Can't
know.
be.
And that's a
That's
point
probably
for
the
the
piece.
audience. I am not a horror guy, but that movie sucked.
So you're.
Trav?
I dug it. I don't. It could be the cheesiest, corniest horror movie from 2006. I don't care. I'm in. Give me a jump scare.
Yeah.
Let me try to predict it. I'm not critiquing the acting. I'm not critiquing the scenes. I'm just scare me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought that, as I've mentioned multiple times, like the 2009 part of it, like I allowed myself to think of that before watching. Like I said, I thought I had seen it. I think I have. I just wanted to like take into consideration it's older. It's a horror film. I love horror movies. Is it going to have any sort of effect? And I thought it generated reactions out of me, not only from a jump scare, but from the eerie goosebumps that I would get.
It did get reactions. I
think the next time you watch one, you gotta, if it's not on like a streaming service, like if it's something that we got to go find, I think watching it with headphones maybe would do a little bit, like just a slight change. But no, I think it was awesome. Like, good movie. Acting's hit or miss. It's not an all-time. It's obviously not. It's a cult classic for a reason.
Here's something that you got to admit, Geese. It wasn't very predictable. It wasn't very predictable.
I thought
Not
it was
like
pretty predictable.
Not like a lot of movies we've seen. No, because you're not going to predict that scene down in the basement. You're not going to predict her walking in on that.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
I feel like
You can predict the premise like that,
but it's like, drag me to hell. They let off with the kids getting dragged to hell. She's going to get dragged to hell.
Well,
No,
that's not what I'm talking
that
about.
ending, you
That's
did
not what I'm
not.
talking
That
about.
ending, you didn't see that ending coming. No chance.
I didn't see it coming per se, but it's the whole point of the movie.
They win in horror movies.
Name one.
I can't name off the top of my head, but like they exorcise demons in movies and come out okay. Like some people die, but like the main character doesn't always get killed. Like they win sometimes.
They definitely win sometimes, but
hey, Michael Myers, it took him forever to win. I don't even know if he has.
He still got there. You know.
Jamie Lee Curtis is still getting after it.
I'm not necessarily talking about the ending. I'm talking throughout the movie. Throughout the movie, like different scenes weren't as predictable as some movies we've seen. You know what I mean? That's what I'm throwing out there.
Yeah, you are correct. I'm being a critic, so I'm going harder than I probably should be. But no, the overall plot of the movie was well laid out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 2009. I can picture myself in the theater watching it in 2009. I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I would have.
I wouldn't have been there. So.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't.
No chance I see this movie in theaters.
No, I'd seen a horror movie with Geese back in high school in theaters, and he was just
legit
talking the whole time.
Legit horror movie.
In shambles.
Oh.
In shambles.
What was that? Saw 5?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. You talk about jump scares, gore. Yeah, different theme and everything. But
topic for another time. I think jump scares, no. Gore, maybe nothing more gory than Saw.
Saw 5 came out in 2008. This movie kicks this movie's ass 100% of the time.
We'll have to watch it. We'll have to. I'm gonna note that because I'm gonna revisit that because I'd be interested to see.
My words.
I'm interested to see.
We have when we come out to Denver, we got to watch either Final Destination, the Bloodwine's new one, Bring Her Back. We got Dangerous Animals, and then Clown in a Cornfield.
Dangerous Animals looks crazy. I don't know anything about Clown in a Cornfield.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't have high expectations for that one.
It's got 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. So
is it even out yet?
Nothing.
We don't even know what that means.
Well, with that being said, audience 62, critics 92. Where do you guys lie? Sway one way or the other? Are you somewhere in the middle?
I think I'm leaning in between. I'm not leaning. I wouldn't give it a 92, but obviously that's not what the rating means. Would I give it a favorable?
I don't know what that means either.
Would I give it a favorable? Yes.
I'm definitely under a 3.5. 2.5, maybe 2.7.
Brendan, what are you giving out of 5?
Out of 5.
I think that I don't know. None of that shit matters to me. I don't get it. I don't know what's the difference between a 2.2 and a 2.6.
We brought it up today. I'm just trying to get a scale here.
I'm just saying, like 2.2, 2.6. What's the difference? I don't know. What I'll tell you is this:
0.33.
Me and Trav are going to raise the audience score, and Geese is going to bring it down. I think that's where we lie. I don't think like whatever 92% means in terms to 62%. I know there's some kind of logic behind it. I don't know if I'm quite that high. But I'm definitely going to be one of the folks that are raising the audience score as opposed to dropping it. I thought it was good. It's unbelievable the fact that there's a part 2 confirmed based on our conversation last week with Warcraft about joking about getting a sequel. Like we are getting one here, and when it comes out, we're going to see it. I will go watch this movie in theaters. Note it, book it, stamp it, signed, sealed, delivered. Drag Me to Hell 2 is probably what this one will for certain be called. I don't think it'll be a Drag Me to Hell with another theme.
Final Reckoning.
Drag Me to Hell.
Oh,
that could be it. That could be it. Quick note before the exciting wheel spin that we like to do in order to figure out what we're going to do next week. Quick note, would love to get the quick takes on where do we get what is your prediction for movie number 2? Like, are we getting Justin Long back? Are we getting some of the cast back? Are we starting from scratch and this demon is a whole new cast?
Justin Long commands too big of a salary now, and I won't say it's a massive one, but he's definitely way more famous than he was in this movie. Same with Sam Raimi. This movie was done before Spider-Man, or maybe at the same time. I think Spider-Man was 2007. So I think this filmed and then he did Spider-Man. So I think it's if it is Sam Raimi for this movie, it's going to be a brand new cast
I think you contradicted
With a-
yourself
with-
there
with a cameo.
because you mentioned Justin Long being too big for a contract, but if the director is also that much bigger now, like they're probably going to look to go above him.
And
And
Right,
they can afford.
but-
They could probably afford him
yeah,
if he's as big as you say.
because these studios have a lot of money and they don't care. They will put it out
They
there.
don't
Horror
like
movies
losing
are
money.
doing a lot
But this
better.
one did do good, so maybe.
Horror movies are doing a lot better. It's a cult classic remake or like sequel. You're gonna get people to come watch it. So
Yep.
I think it is gonna be a remake. And I think Justin Long's character is gonna be
Well, it won't be a remake.
there.
It'll be a
or a
sequel.
sequel is what I mean. But the button, you have to tie the button in. You have to
I
tie
disagree.
I don't
I,
think
dis-
you have
I
to.
think
I would like
I
to
think-
see it.
the button I think will be involved early, but like the owner died, so that button, the curse is done. Like Justin's
True.
not getting. Clay's not cursed because she died. He has the button, but like the deed was done. So like there's going to be a new cursed item, but I do think the button will be present early in the
Yeah.
movie to kind of just like the gypsy necklace.
True.
You got to
True.
start the story somewhere. The button will be. That's why I think you got to have Clay. You have to have Clay.
Hopefully Trudy is
That'd be like a what is it, Scream, where all those guys keep coming back. So I could see that, and I could see him more as a cameo type, like what Sean was in this one. You know, where
yeah.
they
or,
go
the intro scene.
yeah, where they go to him to figure out what the fuck is going on. You know, it's like I'll tell you,
yeah.
and then he dies or some shit. You know, so that's how I picture that. Not the main character, but definitely relevant to the movie.
Yeah. Hey, great pod. I mean, that movie, again, we watched a cult classic without even knowing it, and I know we've talked about getting cult classics involved sometime down the road. So if that's a cult classic, I think I'm going to like a lot of them. And I know I already know what some of them are classified as. We'll deep dive into more about what that looks like sometime when we get there. But first cult classic, episode number 2 of Rotten Tomatoes direct critic score versus audience score. Different than last week, right? The audience hated well, I guess it's not different. No, yeah, it was. Because the audience
it's a
loved
flip.
Warcraft.
Yeah,
The audience loved
29%.
Warcraft.
Warcraft.
29% from the critics.
From the
Yeah,
critics.
that was bad. Understood it, though. But, hey, episode 2 in the books. Go watch Drag Me to Hell. We will be pumping this thing up on socials that you'll see prior to hearing this podcast. So hopefully you guys do end up watching. Let us know what you think because we're going to be blasting it. Episode 6 in the books. Critter. Would love to get you back involved here because we've got 2 movies left to go in the set of 4 of The Man vs. the People, Rotten Tomatoes. Critic, and reminder, 30% or higher in terms of the difference in scores, whether that's just critics higher or audience higher. All of these movies are at least 30% difference or more. Drag Me to Hell hit the nose on the head at 30. Warcraft 47%. Without further ado, Chris, what are we watching next week?
Hold on. Let's try to guess. Let's try to guess.
Okay.
I think
Just
it's going to
pick one.
land.
Pick
Yep.
one.
I think it's going to be Butterfly Effect.
We'll go Hook.
I'm going to go with Mohawk.
I was looking at that one too.
I do have a suggestion to throw your guys' way.
Before your
We want-
suggestion,
Okay.
can
go
you
ahead.
make a guess? Like, can you guess a movie too?
I think I'll go Spy Kids.
I was just gonna say Spy Kids would be cool, dude.
But no, so I did change up the wheel spin a little bit. I wanted to keep you guys off guard. Another thing I wanted to mention is, do you guys want to throw a little like mulligan, basically? So like, oh, we don't want to do that. You just go and go. Okay. So
No.
here we go.
Yeah.
what you
I
get
think
is
we-
what
I
you
was
get,
gonna say,
brother.
But
Because
well,
then
you
you'll
can't.
miss
Not
out
every
on-
week. You get so like I was thinking a mulligan for each like batch of movies. Like so,
Nah, I don't
we
hate
can only
that
use
idea.
one. We can only use one for these 4
Yeah, I don't
because
hate
there is
that.
a lot of movies on the board.
Yeah,
we can.
but like you're gonna
okay.
end up skipping something that could or could not be good, and the whole point of this is to review movies.
Yeah,
right?
I
Yep,
like the idea
that's
of
fine.
random, but I
Okay.
do appreciate the thought.
I like to note that and keep it on the back burner for
Yeah.
because I'm in. I would be in for that. But
There's
we
just
can,
a lot of movies on this. That's why I was like, well, maybe we want to do that. So, all
Yeah.
right, here we go, boys.
$1
true.
on it. If it lands on it, you guys each owe me $1. Butterfly effect.
Yep.
Same with you guys.
Yep, I got Mohawk.
Holy shit, that thing's spinning. My eye is now on butterfly effect.
I don't know where Mohawk's at.
I'm cooked.
Uh-oh.
Spy Kids.
Uh-oh.
Come on.
Oh.
Nope.
It comes at night. Wow. Wow. I thought Spy Kids for sure.
You better get
there.
your headphones on. I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen this, but just the title of it. The title of it, I know it's got to be a horror, yeah?
I am going for it right now.
What was it?
Crit will toss a little preview up.
Yeah. It comes at night. I do not remember the discrepancy in this one, but I do think this is like Brendan Fraser. Or not Brendan Fraser, but the guy from Fighter.
2017.
Okay, so we're big on critics again. We're
44%.
That's a massive difference. Does this have the genre there? What is it? Horror mystery?
Yeah,
so
horror mystery. It's the exact same thing.
He's gonna hate it. Joel Edgerton. I always call him Brendan Fraser, and I don't know why. But his name in The Fighter with Tom Hardy or Warrior, his name is Brendan. So I always think of Brendan Fraser.
There's a guy in the movie that their character's name is Travis in here.
Sick, dude. Yeah.
I bet he dies.
44%, dude. That's
probably.
A massive difference. And again, we're on the critics, not the audience, so Geese is gonna hate it. I love Joel Edgerton though.
It looks like this is on Hulu.
Where to watch? Let's see here.
Yeah, good stuff. Critter, where to
watch? God damn it!
Nice. No, it was on there, but anyway, there we go.
Hey.
It's premium subscription, man.
What's the difference?
Yeah,
one has ads and one doesn't. I think.
Bro, I don't watch ads, so that's my subscription.
Oh,
budget $5
million.
I'm a premium member.
Budget $5 million over here. $5 million, boys.
$5 million.
Yeah.
What's the budget?
I've heard of this movie. I don't know if I've seen it, but I am a horror movie whore. So I've seen a lot of these movies. So the name rang a bell when I put it on the wheel, but I don't remember seeing it, but I like that actor and the name. Like I maybe have seen this, but I don't know.
2017.
I love horror movies.
2017
horror back to back. 44% difference. Tune in next week.
Where's the mulligan?
It comes at night. You didn't want it. Another great episode. Everybody out there, thanks for listening. I hope by the time that you listen to this that you did get a chance to watch Drag Me to Hell. You do get a chance to listen to this and review it. See if you agree with me, Trav, Alex, whoever. Doesn't matter, but just want your takes. Who got it right? Who got it wrong? Do you agree with the audience? Do you agree with the critics? Do the scores make any sense to you? And if they do, please let us know because they don't make any goddamn sense to us. But we're going to stick to the Rotten Tomatoes script for 2 more movies and heading into back-to-back horrors. I'm on cloud 9. I love it. It comes at night. Guys, remember, last week gave a quick snapshot of Sinners. I'm actually going to see Lilo and Stitch on Sunday, so can't wait to talk to you a little bit about that one next week. I don't know if the boys are going to see a movie or not. But
I think I'll be going, yeah.
Like Sunday morning?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, Sunday morning, Lilo and Stitch. Get a chance to check that one out. I think I mentioned this last week, but don't remember. But a lot of these movies that are becoming live action were kind of a part of our childhood as cartoons, so definitely have a big appeal there. Lilo and Stitch, we just hope they didn't make a mistake on it, and it's lights out. Can't wait to talk to you guys about that one.
I think it's gonna be stellar. I'm pumped.
Looks good.
Stitch looks amazing. So.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like they did too much with the CGI. Like they got a couple things, but a lot of it's going to be live action. So pumped to see that one. Pumped to talk to you guys about that one next week as well. But make sure to check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Instagram, X, the Everything app. Everything happens on X. Don't miss what we're doing. We want you guys to check out what's going on. We want you to watch the movie. You're going to hear about it from us anyway. So the best way to listen is to be able to watch prior. Put your own thoughts in there. Let us know what you think. And guys, as I mentioned, Lilo and Stitch, get out to theaters. There's not a better effect. We talked about in the pod today, having the headphones on just changed it that much. I mean, we're watching it on a laptop, and it gave me goosebumps in the middle of broad daylight of a 2009 horror film. So the effects are there. It's not quite like the big screen, but it's like the big screen at home, doing something a little bit different. But get out into the movie theaters, go see a movie. Go alone. Like I said last week, 10:30 a.m. by myself. Intimate theater. It's awesome. Like, do something for yourself, treat yourself, do something for somebody else. Take them with you. Go with your family. Don't care. But when you sit down on your couch and you turn Netflix on, or you pop on some sort of stream to watch an old movie that you can't find on a streaming service, or you are in theaters and you're going to check out the live action of Lilo and Stitch, or you're going to go see Sinners because I gassed it up so much and you just can't wait to get out there and see it. When you guys get that popcorn, that old Redenbacher out of the cabinet like we talk about all the time, right? You put it in the microwave, or maybe you're at the cashier and you order the extra large because why not? You're at a movie, you might as well eat it. And you go over to the butter station, maybe it's real, maybe it's not, don't care. But when you're pressing that button or you're at home and you got the stick and maybe you melt it in the microwave, I don't know. Everybody's preference is different, but make sure that you just don't forget that extra butter.
Extra butter on the corn for me. Extra butter. I hope they don't charge a fee. But it won't matter anyway. I got a good movie to play. I'm gonna ask my friends to stay extra butter for me.